We choose truth over facts.
$740 billion.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And you ain't black.
Crushed it. I don't know about you, but when I think of famous quotes from United States presidents, there are a few that just immediately jump out that I think of automatically. JFK, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Joe Biden, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Sounds corny, not a joke. Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women, created by the go, you know the thing.
That we hold these truths to be self-evident. Sounds corny, not a joke. Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go, you know the thing.
I mean, if that doesn't give you chills, you're not an American. Now, what I've done is I've gathered a handful of President Biden's most profound, greatest quotes so far, and it was really hard to choose. There's so many great ones from this master orator. First one up is pretty well known, and it's well known for good reason. President Biden came into office promising to heal the racial divide in this nation, which he's done completely, in part because of amazing quotes like this one.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it. That was really like the icing on the cake for that one. For me, that's just beautiful. I mean, that's just like, you can't teach that. But wait, you thought President Biden only dished life-changing inspirationalness about things like race and dudes named Corn Pop and hairy legs and kids sitting on his lap? Nope. Turns out he's also brilliant with numbers. Who'd have thought?
That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. Folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
He's so next level good with numbers that he just creates his own numbers. 740 million billion, trillion, zillion, billion, willion. How did he get so good with numbers, you might ask? Oh, I have an idea. Could it be because he's been in the Senate for 180 years? Yeah, you learn a lot being in the Senate for that long.
That's why I've made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president.
Being in the United States Senate since 1841 has taught President Biden a whole lot. And from some of his most profound public moments, we can tell that one of the most important lessons he's learned in all that time is that sometimes the best way to respond, sometimes the best answer is long, extended, extremely awkward silence and nothing more.
They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
nailed it, crushed it. Sometimes silence is just the only way to go, to get your point across. As you just saw, nobody does it better than Joe. Other times, what's really called for in the situation is just this little throat noise, this little sorry. Nobody does that. See, I just tried to do it. I can't do it. Nobody does that better than Joe. Watch. Profound quotes don't actually need to be words.
A couple days ago at a rally, I don't want to misquote him, and he said at the rally, and I wrote this down. He said that we're virtually turned the corner.
Who else does that? You could see right there how the whole, I'm not going to do it again because I almost just choked when I tried to do it last time, but you could see how that throat noise, it really drove the point home. It stressed what he was trying to say, as well as made every healthcare worker in the audience kind of perk up. Another very effective speaking tactic from the master is sometimes just put on a grumpy face and just say more than 20 years for like no reason at all. Watch.
So please, vote. Help us get out the vote. Go to iwillvote.com/MI. In Detroit, more than 20 years. Look, you have now 20 early voting centers. They're open now all across the city.
More than 20 years. The next brilliant Biden quote was really, I think, instrumental in getting so many people to turn out to vote for him. You probably know, if you live in this country, there's been a long-standing debate about truth versus facts. Some people say truth is better than facts. Other people say no, facts over truth. You get these. Biden came out and said what other candidates would not say. They wouldn't say it. They were afraid to say it. But Biden, he rolled the dice. He just came out and just said it.
We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
That one gets me every time. I mean, such a powerful, powerful moment in modern politics. I mean, you could hear the crowd cheering, even though what Joe Biden had just said made absolutely no sense whatsoever. President Biden does not just inspire adults with his wit and charm. He also inspires children.
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too.
I would just like to mention right now that Biden is so on another level with his profundity that they can't even find signers that can keep up with his brilliance.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. Mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? What's that you say? You say, is that a shirt with Karl Marx and a clown nose? That's the most glorious shirt I've ever seen in my life. Where would you get such a shirt? We sell them. Go to Not the Bee's shop and get yourself one. Moving on to the next profound, brilliant quote from Joe Biden. This one will be remembered forever. It happened at the end of one of the Democratic debates. Biden stole the show. No one could hang with him. He was so quick on his feet, so intelligent, so witty. He just blew them all away. And then he ended with this finale that will never be forgotten. He looked, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. He looked into the camera and he said, go to Joe 30330. And you knew at that exact moment that it was over. It was over. There was no question that he was going to be our next president. He was operating on another level that night. He's still operating on another level, and he operates on his own bandwidth that only exists at Joe 30330. What is that? Is it a phone number? Is it a website? No one knows. No one's ever known. No one knows still. That's how far just beyond everyone he is. He transcends the way we normally think and communicate like humans. All I know is that night, I and the whole nation, we all went to Joe 30330. And here's that famous quote right here.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
You could tell, right, after he nailed that line, just the way that he looked down at the ground in utter defeat and confusion. You could tell he knew he just nailed it, just crushed it. Next clip. Remember I told you how Joe Biden came in with the mission to heal racial division and that he's already done that, 100%. One of the ways he did that happened in another one of his many, many, many famous quotes, where he was being interviewed by a very popular radio host named Charlemagne the God, and he decided the easiest and quickest way to heal racial tension any racial animosity in America was just to define who's black and who's not.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
I mean, it ensures him 100% of the black vote. Has any president done that before? No, I don't think so. You know, I couldn't get through this list without mentioning probably the most profound thing that's ever been said about vaccines. And I know this is the reason that much of America and the world, frankly, decided to get vaccinated. This is the reason I myself chose to get vaccinated. I wasn't sure. I was kind of on the fence until I tuned into CNN and I heard my president utter the following just beautiful words.
And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact it's going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved but permanently approved.
Yeah. I mean, how could anybody watch that and not just have total confidence in everything that man stands behind? And, you know, frankly, I'm not trying to be, you know, controversial or whatever, but frankly, if more people would listen to Joe, then maybe 200 million people wouldn't already have died from COVID.
Most cruelly of all, if Donald Trump has his way, the complications from COVID-19, which are well beyond what they should be. It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
It's just the truth. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't argue with facts, people. Facts don't care about your feelings. It is what it is. Our journey, this has been an emotional journey for me to relive all of these amazing moments from the greatest presidency, clearly in history, and the greatest speaker this country's ever seen. It's quite amazing, and I know you've probably run through some tissues yourself, like I definitely have. I want to end with perhaps the most profound statement that he's made. It's hard to say it's such a competition there, but when I think of Joe Biden, when you think of Joe Biden, we all think the same thing, and that is just a workhorse, boundless energy. He just gets stuff done. Get it done. Take care of business. And one day, President Biden, he kind of opened up and let out a secret about how he's able to get so much done, which is like gold, really, because he's just as efficient and effective a human specimen probably that's ever existed. And one day he opened up and he blessed us with his secret formula for getting stuff done. And I wanted to end this special video with that special quote so we can carry it with us as we move on. Really, really listen up, folks. Listen to this one.
Say something outrageous. I have never been particularly poor at calculating how to get things done in the United States Senate. So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done.
If you made it through this whole video, I know that last quote, that last nugget of wisdom from President Biden made it all worthwhile. So congratulations to you for blessing yourself. Just that last one's going to change your life forever. I know it and you know it. Of course, like and subscribe, duh. And hey, thanks for watching.